Hi, my name's StacyRae Mendick, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Healthy and Fit with Stacy Ray. I'm so glad that you've stopped by, and I hope that you'll go ahead and stay for the entire length of this video so that I can help educate, motivate, and inspire you to start strength training. All right, last week I chatted about how I'm reinventing my YouTube channel, and I've been away for a little while, but I'm back, and I'm super excited to do one video a week on educating women over 40 on certain topics, and particularly revolving my conversation around the 4 pillars of health. The first pillar of health that I'm going to touch on is strength training. Okay, so we're going to talk about strength training, and I'm going to talk about some things that I think are really important for you to know. Keep it super simple and not too complicated. But I do want to have you hear something that I'd like you to take away with a huge message that's super important about strength training. So the main message today is strength training isn't about building muscle. After 40, it's about building the body that is going to carry you through the next 40 years. That's pretty powerful. So let that sink in for a moment. And that's something that I think is very important for you to know. And it can be done. Okay. It can be done through getting on a strength training program. And I hope that motivates you, if you're not on a strength training program, to start one, because you want to be able to have the ability to carry your body everywhere you go. All right, now I want to talk about some certain bullet points that are super important. And one of them is that we naturally lose muscle, and this starts to happen from the age of 30. All right, so I want to touch on a few things about the timeline of muscle loss to kind of educate you and help you understand a little bit about how this happens. So this is called the timeline of muscle loss. Ages 30 to 50, we lose 3 to 5% of muscle mass per decade. That is a lot in a quick amount of time, right? In 20 years. So let me repeat that. Ages 30 to 50, we lose 3 to 5% per decade of muscle loss. So if you're not strength training and you haven't paid attention to being on a strength training program, that's about where you are right now. Now, if you've been strength training, good for you. Hopefully you're gaining lean muscle mass and you aren't having as much loss as this statistic is sharing if you haven't been strength training. Now, let's talk about the age of 50 to 60. This statistic increases by 1% per year more. So, from the ages of 50 to 60, you're losing 1% more per year. So, that would probably take you to a higher muscle loss percentage by the time you're 60. Now, after 60, this one is a huge jump and a very important one for you to know, that muscle loss is increased by 3% per year, leading to the fastest strength reduction. That's a lot of lean muscle to be losing after the age of 60. So if you're not strength training and you're hearing this maybe for the first time, this is pretty powerful information. When I did the research, and I've known this, but when I'm actually reading it to you, it's really resonating with me how intense this really is and how detrimental to your body this really can become, because it starts to really affect your everyday living the more muscle that you lose. All right. Overall impact: inactive adults can lose up to 30% of total muscle mass over a lifetime. That's intense. So, some of the key factors that influence this rate of muscle loss are physical inactivity, types of fibers lost. So, for example, you lose more fast twitch muscle fibers as you age, and they degrade faster than slow twitch muscle fibers. Hormonal shifts cause us and can cause us to lose muscle mass over that timeline. And also nutritional things such as low intake of protein. All right, so nutritional low protein intake can also contribute to these muscle mass um, timeline statistics that I'm sharing with you. Okay, so I want to bounce back now to sharing with you that strength training gives our muscles a reason to stay strong and functional rather than to just accept age related decline. So we don't want to just accept the fact that we're aging and that our muscles are declining. We want to be able to do something about it. And what is that something? What is the solution to declining muscle mass? It's strength training. It's getting on a strength training program to help you slow down that momentum and help you maintain the lean muscle mass that you have and more muscle mass that you want to gain so that you can continue to not decline in your muscle mass throughout each decade. Okay, so let's talk about the reasons why we want to slow down the decline of muscle mass and how we can do that. We can do that through doing a strength training full body workout 2 to 3 times a week using machines, body weight for your resistance, lifting weights with dumbbells, and also using resistance bands like exer bands, and resistance bands. And when you start a resistance training program, I would start off slow and I would start off using your body weight and then move into adding on external resistance. I think that's really important. Your strength training program doesn't have to be long. And in fact, when you first start, I would highly recommend maybe starting off with 10 minutes and then maybe ending up with 30 minutes 3 times a week. You really don't need more than that. And you want to do it on non-consecutive days. You also want to have a higher protein intake, and that is super important, especially for women over 40. And each decade that we move into, you want to make sure that you know what your protein should be, and you want to make sure that you intake it daily because our bodies don't make it. We'll touch more on that on pillar number 4 3 weeks from now. Okay, so I'm just giving you a couple of nuggets, some highlights on how to move forward with strength training right now and things that you want to start inputting into your weekly regimen so that you don't lose more muscle mass, and also staying active, regular walking, and daily movement. All right, so that's super, super important. Something else that strength training does is it helps us stay independent. And what do I mean by that? We want to be able to get on and off the floor. We want to be able to get in and out of a chair that doesn't have arms on the side of it. We want to be able to get in and out of a seat on an airplane. We want to be able to go up and down stairs. We want to be able to play with our grandchildren, and we want to be able to do the daily things that we love to do. Those are some examples on our own and independently. Also, going shopping, bringing in our shopping bags from the car, especially if we live alone or whatever the circumstance might be. So, those are some examples of why we want to strength train and where that can help us with staying independent in our adult daily living. Okay, ADL for short. All right, strength training also helps to support your bone health, especially after menopause. This is extremely important. So many women wait to start strength training, and when they become postmenopausal, they see lots of changes happening quite quickly. A lot of belly fat that might accumulate in the middle, but there's a lot that goes into that. But I just want to keep this short and sweet that strength training can help you support your bone health, and it can also help you to increase your um, lean muscle mass. And it's very important. It's one of the best things that you can add to your postmenopausal treatment program to help you in a lot of ways. All right, the third bullet point I want to touch on is that muscle is metabolically very, very important. Muscle helps you to be more efficient at losing body fat. You are also more efficient at making sure that when you gain lean muscle mass, your muscles become more metabolically efficient and optimally functioning. Even when you're sleeping, it's like a residual income. You're burning 50 more calories per day because your muscles are more metabolically efficiently running. So that's huge. That's huge. And metabolically, it's one of the best things that you can do to get your body to start to be more efficient at losing body fat. Now, I've been sitting here with these two. This is 1 pound of muscle. This is 1 pound of body fat. You can see that this 1 pound of muscle is a lot more compact. It's smaller and it's smoother than this 1 pound fat. Now, this 1 pound of body fat is bumpier, it's bigger, it is more out of shape, and it weighs more. So when we gain lean muscle mass, we might weigh more, but if we have more body fat on our body, we can also weigh less but carry more body fat. So the bottom line of what I want to share with you is even though you weigh more on the scale when you're strength training, you will hopefully be losing body fat, and that is going to help you fit into your clothes better. Your body composition is going to change, and you're going to feel leaner, more energetic. And losing body fat is super important for us because we want to make sure that we're not carrying around more body fat than we should, because there's lots of problems that can lead to lots of different diseases over time. 1 pound of body fat, 1 pound of muscle. What do you want more of? You want more muscle, less body fat. Okay? And you can do that and achieve that through a strength training program. All right. Lastly, when you are on a strength training program, you improve your balance, you have increased longevity, a better quality of life, your posture improves, and everything is much better because you're able to carry yourself around, possibly osteopenia or osteoporosis. So that is a huge message that I want to bring home to you, that strength training can help prevent osteopenia and osteoporosis. Now, I do want to touch on one thing really quickly, and then I want to read a couple of statistics and then close out the video. Muscle wasting is also known as sarcopenia. That is medical terminology for your muscles are decreasing and wasting. And that is something that should scare you. So over time, I already went over the timeline of muscle loss. And over time, if you don't do something about it, you can start to have something called sarcopenia, and that is actually a medical term of muscle wasting. And one more thing I want to touch on is there's another terminology called osteosarcopenia. That is the wasting of bone and muscle simultaneously. And that's really when things start to accelerate for women because they are starting to experience bone loss, frailty, and also muscle loss at the same time, and possibly that posturing that I talked about earlier. So when you get the combination of both of those together, then it's really a red flag for you to not wait any longer and start taking care of your health with a strength training program. 2 studies, okay? A 2022 systematic review and meta-analysis of progressive resistance training in adults 65 and over found that resistance training significantly increases lower body muscle strength and also improved femur, hip bone, and mineral density. All right, so that is a 2022 study. And here is a second study. 2025 meta-analysis of 17 randomized controlled trials involved 690 postmenopausal women found significant improvement in bone mineral density at the lumbar spine, femoral, neck, and total hip with resistance training. So that's pretty powerful. So a couple of things. Remember, it's never too late. You can get started on a strength training program. And this week I will be rolling out a basic strength training program that you can get started on. We'll talk more about that in my next video. If you like what I've shared, please hit the subscribe button so that you are notified when I put out a new video. If you have a comment, please leave one. I would love to help answer your question, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.